Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jadisola if you're new here, and today is a very special day. So for people that have been following my videos, my very first video, I actually spoke about how I relocated to the UK using the UK Global Talent Visa, and this week made it 1 year exactly that I relocated to the UK, and it's been an amazing journey. And again, if you watch the video, you would also remember that I said that I used a coach while I was applying for the UK Global Talent Visa. So today, for the very first time on my channel, I have a guest, and I'm excited about, having her come on this channel because she is my coach, and I thought it would be nice for her to come around and share like the latest, updates on the UK Global Talent Visa, how to apply for it, the requirements, the process, and if you also need to reach out to her, it um, would be a great opportunity for you as well to understand how this works, and if you need to get help you can always reach out to her. So make sure you watch this video, and if you have been watching all my other videos, you have not subscribed to my channel, I'm watching you, so please subscribe to my channel. Let me know if this content is helpful. You can also let me know if there are topics that you would like me to talk about or bring a guest on. I'll be happy to do that. Now, I can't even introduce her, so I am going to allow her to introduce herself. So in case this video is long, I may break it into like two parts because I really don't want you guys to miss anything from my interview with Michelle. So without no further ado, let's go and talk to Michelle. Welcome to my channel, Michelle, and thank
Thank
you
you.
for, coming as my very first guest on my channel. So please introduce yourself to my audience.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm so pleased to be here. And it's great to catch up with you after all this time and to see how much you've grown and progressed since the first time we met when you were applying for your Global Talent Visa. So my name is Michelle Hewer. I am the UK Global Talent Visa coach, and I coach Jadazola to receiving her exceptional talent endorsement within 27 hours in 2020. That's like my biggest success. In 2012, I moved to the UK and I got an entrepreneur's visa, which was what it was called back then, but it's the innovator's visa now. I was a lawyer turned tech entrepreneur. So that visa only allowed me 3.5 years. And when it was starting to expire, I had to get a new visa. So I was myself endorsed with exceptional talent. I became the Technation Visa ambassador, and I worked on my own startup Made with Glove, and I also helped people with applicants at the same time because I wrote a blog about my story and it went viral. And I decided to do this full time because the demand was so high, and I got so inspired by helping people like Dadazola, and I exited my startup, which I'll tell you about later. And then in 2019, I received my indefinite leave to remain, and then I got my British citizenship.
So now, you guys, can you see the reason why I can't introduce Michelle? Because there's just so much, in her profile. And, she's gone through the entire process, like from getting the UK Global Talent Visa to getting her indefinite leave to remain to becoming a British citizen. Like, you can't even talk that. So you are a recipient, obviously, of the UK Global Talent Visa. Now, what year did you get yours, and what was the process like back then compared to now? Because I know that a lot of things have changed.
Yeah, it has. And it's interesting because it's so different now to when I applied. I got mine in 2016. I was one of the top 50 that received it back then. And The criteria wasn't very clear at the time. We didn't even, it was so vague. So we were kind of just fumbling around and doing things, hoping that we would get accepted. And they don't have many statistics for back then because not many people applied. But over the years, and because I've helped so many people, I've been keeping an eye on the changes. And I know there's lots of information about it now, but I feel so lucky and blessed to help people with these new criteria because it's so much clearer than what I got. First of all, the endorsement rate. Back then, unfortunately, it was 68%, but now it's 54%. So I think it's because a lot more people are applying, a lot more people are knowing about this, and the criteria is stricter, but it's a lot clearer. The process. I had to send my 70-page document by snail mail.
Oh, wow.
So I had to print everything out, get it sent by registered post. And I was already in the UK. Can you imagine if you were in another country, if you were in Nigeria and you had to send it by snail mail?
Oh my God.
How long would it take? but now you can submit it all online. Upload, it's so easy now. Yeah. And you can track sort of, a little bit about your progress. The criteria, as I said, is now a lot clearer. You also have more pages in which to submit your evidence. So when I applied, it was only 2 pages per criteria and per document, but now it's 3 pages. So you don't have to squeeze everything in 2 pages. It's now 3 pages. This is a really good one. There was a cap when I applied, which meant every year, only 200 people per year were able to be endorsed.
I probably will not be here if that was still the case.
That's crazy. Okay. So now it's unlimited endorsements. So anyone who applies can potentially be endorsed. But for me, I was like, there's only 200 that can get it. So that's an extra stress that you don't need. But back then, even though it was so new, they didn't reach the 200. But if it's in your head, it stresses you out a little bit. So now it's no cap, it's unlimited endorsements. There was, when I applied, a fast track option. There still is, but they've changed the fast track option. So back then, because I was based in the north of England, in Manchester, they fast tracked us for decisions. That's because they wanted more people to move to the north of England.
Oh,
Yeah. But now there is one fast track option, and that's if you have been accepted onto an approved accelerator. So if you're an entrepreneur and you need to start an accelerator which is listed in the guidelines, then they will fast track your application because your start date is based on you being in the UK to go on this accelerator program. So that's the only fast track. Now, decision time. Jadazola, you benefited from this decision time. Before, it was sort of 8 weeks, okay? And they have 8 weeks to decide whether or not you are successful or not. But during COVID, and that's when we applied, the decision time is a lot quicker. It's now up to 3 weeks.
Imagine the stress of waiting for 8 whole weeks.
I waited 18 working days, right? And that was fast tracked. Oh my gosh, I was sitting there, I was counting the days. But Jadazola, you turned off your computer, you came back the day later and you got it. So
I can't imagine really waiting, that suspense of not knowing whether or not you qualify. It's just something else. Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah, thank goodness. And then 2 more things. It's the criteria. As I said, it's a bit different. Mainly the certifications. I can't remember when. Did we have certifications for you?
Yes.
Yes.
Continuous criteria.
Yes. So now there is no more continuous learning criteria. The reason is because you work in tech. If you're highly skilled, you should already be doing this for your own professional development. You should always be upskilling yourself. So the certifications, you should already be doing that. They don't use that allow that as a criteria anymore. And then leadership. We chose leadership for you because you had leadership qualities, and that was an optional criteria. But now it's a mandatory criteria. And you weren't actually going to pick leadership until we discussed it. And I said, no, Jadazola, you have leadership. Let's pick it. But Yeah, so now it's mandatory. Everyone needs to show leadership skills because, this is a global talent visa. You need to be endorsed with exceptional talent or exceptional promise, which means you need to be a leader in your field or an emerging leader. So that's why that's the main criteria.
Now, one thing I have to agree with you on, which, if like when I did mine, obviously, like I thought the criteria wasn't as clear for business applicants. And I can only imagine what the criteria was like during your time, because I'm sure that even at the time that I was applying, that I thought it wasn't as clear, it was clearer, you know.
Oh, there was no distinction back then. It was just like, do you work in tech?
But you know
That's
what?
it. Yeah, I was like, yes. Yeah, it was really hard. Yeah.
You've gone through the entire journey. You're now a British citizen. So how long did it take you to become a British citizen? Because I know a lot of people that are watching this would also want to know what is the path to, getting it and then becoming a British citizen.
Yes, and you're on this path now. You're nearly there. So once you get endorsed, you either get endorsed with exceptional talent or exceptional promise. Now, there's a difference there. If you are endorsed with exceptional talent, you can apply for your indefinite leave to remain, which is like a permanent residency, within 3 years. But if you're endorsed with exceptional promise, you have to wait for 5 years before you apply for indefinite leave to remain. So that's the first difference. When to prepare for your indefinite leave to remain, again, it's a visa application process, but you have to sit a life in the UK test, Jadasola. Have you started studying?
Yeah.
Fine, don't worry. So this life in the UK test is £50, and there's a series of questions and it's multiple choice, and you can study for it now, and you have to go to the centre and sit the test, and you can sit it as many times as you want if you don't pass, but it's £50 every time. But when you do pass, you get the certificate, and it doesn't have an expiry date. So you can essentially sit it now and wait till the time comes to get indefinite leave to remain.
Okay.
I waited to the last minute because I didn't realize I had to do it. So I had 1 month to study for it. I downloaded the app, I bought the book because there's books on life in the UK test. And I passed the first time, which is great because it was really hard. And then the indefinite leave to remain visa application is £2,389. That's how much it is now, but it might change over time. And then once you've got your indefinite leave to remain, you wait 12 months before you can apply for your British citizenship.
Wow.
And that is 1,330. And I think you can actually, for the indefinite leave to remain, you can fast track it. You can get a decision quicker if you pay more.
Oh, okay. So there's also a fast track for that as well.
Yeah, there's a fast track for that, but I don't think there's a fast track for British citizenship. It took them about 4 months for them to process my British citizenship. You attend a ceremony, which was really nice. The ceremony is just, you feel so inspired, and then you can apply for your passport after you get your citizenship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember when I first told someone that I got a coach, and everybody kept asking me, so where did you find a coach? And I said online. And I'm like, you got a coach online, you paid online. How did you know to trust this person? Like, what if it was a scam? Oh, was the person guaranteeing you to get, the global talent visa? Like, there were so many questions. And one of the things I kept saying was, yes, I took a gamble. Yes, did it pay off? Yes. But one of the things that I think the person was, why was I even looking for a coach, right? I read the criteria, and first glance, I thought, oh, this is great. I think I can do it. And then, I kept reading it, and I'm like, I think I'm confused about some of the criteria. Like, how do you show innovation? What is it that you present? How do you position yourself? So I started with that. And then when I started to even do research on like people that could help online, there were so many like lawyers and, legal firms that were helping, but it just didn't feel right. It felt transactional. Like I didn't feel connected to them. And then I stumbled on, your YouTube channel. And then I was like, okay, so I think this person is the right person, not just because I feel more connected to this person, speaking about it consistently. It was also because this person has gone through the journey I'm about to go through. Not a lawyer who is already like, a British person,
Yeah.
who may not understand the journey of an immigrant or someone who's trying to relocate or stay back. So that was the reason, I actually went for a coach. So you, and one of the things I kept wondering while I was working with you was, how is she doing it? This is intense for me as the applicant. And you're going through that journey with me. I know that if I don't get it, you're going to feel sad, the emotional roller coaster. Like, why would anyone choose to go on this journey with somebody in the first place? So my question to you is, why did you decide to become a coach in the first
thank you.
place?
That's that's an interesting question that no one's asked me, actually. So it took me a while to kind of really reflect, and that's a good thing. So my decision was actually quite personal. I have a background as a lawyer, so I'm from Australia. I am Vietnamese as well, and when I was a lawyer in Australia, I advocated for clients, and I've got that training behind me for advising and advocating. But I also completed coaching courses in the UK, because coaching is such an empowering thing to go through, because I've been coached myself. So I know the results that people get if they find a good coach, and there's goals to achieve, and you have a good relationship with each other. I've also been through the global talent visa process, as you know, and I talk about it a lot. That's why I wrote my blog, and it went viral. At the time, I had a startup, and I was wondering whether or not to exit the startup and then move on to coaching. I realized that the more people I was helping with the global talent, the more I was able to get results for them. And I realized I couldn't do my startup and do the coaching at the same time. So I was quite conflicted, because I loved both, but I could only choose one. You know that, Jadisola. And that's the same thing when you want to move as well, countries, it's quite scary. It's a risk.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Yeah, it's a risk. And as an entrepreneur, we talk about the decision to exiting startups. It's quite scary. And by exiting a startup, you think, are people going to think that I failed or I'm giving up?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That played on my mind for a long time, but I looked at it as letting my startup go, but only to open more opportunities and to help more applicants like you for the global talent visa. So that kind of helped me make that decision, not feel like a failure, but I got my startup to a point where I was ready to let it go and then move on to, bigger and better things, I think, because this job now for me, the coaching, is so much better than what I was doing at my startup, because I allowed that to come in.
That's a sacrifice that you've made for us.
Of course. And I connected with you. I connected with people like you a lot more. And what better way to share your story and help someone at the same time. I wasn't just sharing my story, I was actually helping people to success. And I know what the process is like. Why not? It was a no-brainer, really. At the end of the day, now I look back, I'm like, I should have done it a lot sooner. But at the time I was very conflicted. And then, you talked a little about this, and the next realization was, how was I going to articulate what I do as a coach to clients, to people like you, because there were lawyers who were doing what I was doing. Yeah. But so I figured my job when I coach people is not only advising them, but I take the time to help them reflect on their career in the last 5 to 7 years. And I ask relevant questions, and together we choose the strongest examples to help them fulfill the criteria. And that's part of my strategy session. And, I'm actually being me and being nosy, I actually like hearing stories, and I like to learn about everyone and what they've done in the last 5. Just personally, I just like
Guys, if you're not ready to do the work, if you're not ready to
yeah.
dig deep, Michelle is not the person for you, because she's going to make you dig deep. She's going to ask you those questions that will make you really go back in time and just dig up your achievements. Like that's Michelle. Sorry to cut you.
But like, you brought out so much. Like, we sat there and we talked about it, and so many things that you forgot about. And we Googled you.
Yeah.
We found so many things.
So, and that's another thing that I think you helped with, because I think that was one of the first things. Like, if you Google yourself, what can you find about yourself? Like, so right now I still Google myself, just
Just to
check.
see. Exactly. And it's a really good process that we go through. It's you're on a journey. I realized that when I was doing my application, I didn't sleep for 3 months because I was on a time limit. I was doing it by myself. I didn't know what they wanted. And it was a very stressful process, and it would have been helpful for me. I didn't want a lawyer to do it because, as you say, they're very transactional. I wanted someone who actually cared about what I did and helped me filter and figure out how to fulfill the criteria, but give, the strongest example, and also tell a story. Because at the end of the day, there's like 70 pages, right?
Yeah.
Someone's going to read this. And if you don't make it an interesting story, because everyone's story is interesting, then they're not really going to enjoy it, right? That's why you got it in 27 hours, because your story was very clear. It was very concise, and we hit the relevant points, and we fulfilled this criteria, and we convinced them that you deserve to be in the UK.
Yeah.
And, my success, your success is my success, right?
Yeah.
And just like you, I had so much faith in you, and you succeeded, and I'm so inspired by you, and I'm so grateful that you chose me. You took a risk, and together we did it, and I'm grateful to this day. Like, it's been 2 years, and we still have this relationship.
Time flies. Yes. I think one of the things for me, if I'm being honest, that you brought to the table for me was the accountability. Now, being an entrepreneur, I was busy, and I also suffer from analysis paralysis. I say this in out loud. I would overanalyze, and then I would stop. So I know that if I wasn't working with you and I didn't have those weekly appointments with you, there was a good chance I might have gone, oh my gosh, this thing is difficult. I think I'll just pack it to one side. But just knowing that Michelle has given me tasks to do, and I have to, excuse me, and I have to speak to her in a few days, to give her an update. Have you written this letter? Have you done up your CV? Where are you with this? I couldn't come on those calls and just disappoint you. So that kept me in line, and we finished, even before the time we're meant to use, for the application. Another thing is, I think a lot of people think that, a coach is going to do the work for you. They don't think that they're going to have to be the ones to dig deep and, be able to bring out their achievements. A coach can only guide you to success. You are still responsible for bringing out the narrative that you want, to share with the world. So, well, we're glad that you're out there, helping people. You say you've helped, about 500 people. That's a lot. That's a lot, And I know you also keep track of your success rate. The last time I checked, I think was about 80%. It'd be interesting to know what your success rate is like now.
Well, yes. So when you came to me, I had 80% for the last few years. Last year, it went up to 90%. I don't guarantee a success, right? I guarantee a strong application, because the decision lies with the assessor, but I make sure you have the strongest application. In 2021, just last year, all my Nigerian clients got endorsed.
That's 100%. I'm so proud of us.
Yeah, I am too. Since working with you, it's just, you've introduced so many of your friends, your colleagues, people. And I just love working with Nigerians. It's just like everyone is so, um, I don't know, everyone has like energy and
Yeah.
and the and a real inspiring story to tell. Like the stories, that's what gets me.
Yeah. And, I guess for me, back then, I was just wondering, why wasn't this popular? How come nobody really knew about this visa in Nigeria? How come nobody was talking about it? Like it was so, it was an information that was just scarce, in our own part of the world. And I'm happy that, a lot of Nigerians are now learning about it and are also getting it because it's important when, representation is important when you see someone like yourself, going through the journey and then, getting the visa that looks like Mission Impossible on the
Yeah, it does look like Mission Impossible.
yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, I know that we can continue to gist from now till that kingdom come, but it would be nice for you to, in your own words, just tell us a bit about the UK Global Talent Visa, the process, the requirements, and any other information that you're able to share with us today. The part two of this video is going to drop in a few days. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll know when the video drops. See ya!